What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we are covering Solana as its price has seen a bottom side support loss, as we have seen the rest of the market take a bit of a nosedive due to the Fed's news. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about what does this mean for the price, how do we react to this, what my next move is, and more. So of course, let's skip the BS, let's skip the fluff, and let's get straight into the good stuff. So what we can see going on right now, again, is that we did lose this bottom side level of support in which we established back in September. Now, this is inherently bearish, of course. This is not the best thing ever, but it isn't something that I am too concerned about just yet. Now, let me explain why. So one thing we've been tracking on the channel recently is the formation of our 5 waves for Elliott's wave theory here. Now, although it is a little bit ugly, it definitely does meet a lot of the different rules and the guidelines and limitations that are provided by Elliott's wave theory. Just a few, just to name them, we of course see that our 4 wave is above our 1 wave, which is it's so incredibly important. Like right now on Bitcoin, we can see that the 4 wave is down below our 1 wave, and people are still saying that is Elliott's wave theory. I'm like, no, it's not. That's not how that works. So we can see our 4 wave was put on top of our 1 wave. We can see our 3 wave, of course, is a little bit longer than our 5 wave, which is typical. We just see a lot of the movements that do run in parallel with Elliott's wave theory, and so of course it's nice to track it. And one thing we know that happens after Elliott's wave theory is that once we see our 1 2 3 4 5 pattern, this thing runs in sets of 8. So after you have your 5 waves, you will see your corrective ABC pattern, which could look something of this nature. Okay, and so what this means for us is that although this does look scary and it does look relatively uncomfortable, it's not the end of the world just yet. I mean, it definitely could be the start of a continuous downtrend, but it's not confirmed just yet. Now, the reason I say that is because based off of Elliott's wave theory, your C wave, your corrective C wave, can go as low as we can see. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull up this picture. One thing I use is stockbuzz.ning.com/Elliott wave rules, and they go over all of the rules. You can study them, you can learn them. But I have this picture pulled up just for reference, and you can see that your corrective C wave can go as low as your 4 wave here and still be within the guidelines of Elliott's wave theory. And so what that means for us is that realistically, as long as we are still above that $114 level, this can just be considered our corrective C wave. Just again, I didn't even mean to take that off. It can be considered our corrective C wave, which does look something as low as maybe $117 before we are able to recover into seeing some continuation to the upside into our new 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and so overall, although again this does not look the best, we are still within the bounds of seeing growth to the top side, and what supports that is what our RSI is doing while we are seeing that possible formation there. Now, what I mean by that, let's just make me a little bit smaller. I'm not really that important here. Okay, so what we can see is that as we are currently looking to set a low, right, we still have our low here in price set back in September, and our macro low here set on our RSI again in September, obviously same time frames. Now, in that same time frame, our RSI has worked its way down below the previous low in which we set back here. What that means is that we're gonna, no matter where this thing goes, set a lower low, okay? But at the moment on the price, you can see we have not resorted back to that same level on the RSI, which means that we have a higher low here. So what that tells us is that by following Elliott's wave theory and by following our RSI divergence, which is a bullish divergence, that if we are able to still set a lower high somewhere above $114, there are a lot of catalysts technically that say we can see continuation to the top side. And so although in the short term this does look ugly, there are still many things that tell us that as long as we're above $114, which is pretty far away at this point, I'm not gonna lie, that's still a fall of 23%, which sucks. I have tens of thousands of dollars invested in Solana. I've told you all this, and I don't want to see that happen, but it's possible. But realistically, as long as we are holding above 114, we're still okay, right? And so the way in which I'm going to track this thing now is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove this because this has kind of been invalidated at this point, and I'm actually going to look at this more from the perspective of it being some type of descending wedge, right? I'm going to look at it being something of this nature. Now, is this going to be, the pattern, and this going to be the formation that we're going to continue to track? Probably not. As this thing does move, as it does change, new things will arise. But as we are starting to build structure off of this strong fall, we have to see, are we going to start ranging at this key level of support? Are we going to continue to fall? What are we going to do? And as that does play out, whether we do continue to the downside or whether we do start to reverse, we're going to be able to do a little bit more updates. We're going to be able to look at this thing a little bit more in depth. But in today's video, I really just wanted to focus on the fact that although this does not look the best, according to 2 of the biggest things that I do use in terms of indicators and technical analysis, we are still okay, and we are still within the realm to see a continuation to the top side. And so it's not anything that I'm too remotely concerned about now. So personally speaking, I'm not going to be doing doing any dollar cost averaging just yet, but I am going to be doing some maybe swing trades to the top. Say if we find a little bounce here and we see some type of reversal waves, we start to see some reversal patterns, maybe we'll do some swing trades, maybe we'll do some short-term trading to the top side of this wedge, because realistically, I mean, if we do see a revisit of some of these higher levels, it could be 30+% gains on these swings. And if we look at something like our Bollinger Bands, for example, we can see that we are extremely extended out of them. And what we know about our Bollinger Bands is that as we do see this moving average continue to move downwards and we see our Bollinger Bands start to open up, we know that eventually the price is going to resort back to its moving average. That always happens, okay? It can only maintain 2 standard deviations away from this moving average for a small amount of time before eventually resorting back to that moving average. So personally speaking, I'm going to allow this thing to play out. I'm going to start looking for signs of reversal patterns. I'm going to start looking for signs of reversal waves. And as that does happen, I'll take on some short-term trades. Because I mean, even if in this case scenario, we were to work our way back up to this hypothetical moving average, I mean, that could be an 18 to 20% gain there, which could definitely help mitigate some of the losses we may be taking. So of course, if you do want to also be able to purchase Solana, if you want to do it in about the easiest way possible, you guys know that I was extremely excited to announce that the third largest crypto exchange on earth, actually, we're partnered up. We partnered up. They sponsored the channel. They don't have a bunch of partners, and so the fact that they kind of found my content valuable enough to be okay to bring it on, I was super happy about it. You guys know that was a big milestone for me. I partnered up with FTX, and so I'll pop up a little video right now just so you can see like how easy it was. I purchased $50 worth of Solana the other day. You can see it is a very simple process, and then once you actually do purchase it with purchases above $10 with the referral code down below, you can actually get a free crypto coin. For this example, of course, as you saw, I got CUSDT. And so there's so many different options that they provide. It's honestly so easy. And then they also offer amazing tracking, right? And so once you make that purchase, I'll pop up a little video now. You can see that you just go ahead, you can enter in the transaction on what you did. You just press enter, you slide it, and then boom, next thing you know, you can track that purchase to see its progress, to see how well or how bad it's doing. It's honestly so easy. They have over 6 million users, very high volume, very high liquidity, and they are very, very reliable in my opinion. And so with that being said, I hands down wanted to work with them. So the fact that they're on the channel now, I don't know, it makes me so happy. So I hope you guys do check them out. Use the referral link down below. A bunch of benefits come with it, so definitely go check that out. But overall, that is realistically gonna be about it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I do believe Solana is gonna be okay. I'm really not all too concerned, and realistically, while we are still sitting pretty high up above this previous low, there's nothing for me to say just yet that it's time for me to start panicking or start selling or do anything of that nature. So with that being said, I will keep you guys as up to date as I possibly can in terms of what short-term patterns come up. If I take on some short-term trades, the first ones to know will be in the Patreon, so maybe check that out. But if not, I will try my best, of course, to update you as soon as I possibly can. And all you got to do is just smash that like button if you did enjoy. But with that being said, of course, I do have another video coming out today, so I hope you all do stay tuned for that and subscribe to the channel if you want to know as soon as I do post it. Just turn on notifications, but I'll see you all next time. Peace.